Hi, this is Maggie Moreno, Indigo Coach and Mentor from alifeinawareness.com. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about the blocks or the internal barriers that prevent us from fulfilling our purpose in life. These are very common. We all have a whole variety of them, and it is actually a huge topic. So I'm going to try to just give you a few pointers and focus very much on the practical things that you can do to overcome them or to start integrating them, because oftentimes what these blocks are basically shadows, what Carl Jung called shadows, the unloved, unaccepted parts of ourselves. They often show up in the form of criticism, self-criticism and self-doubt. And they're essentially the elements within us, within our personalities, within our outlooks of life that are totally incoherent with our values and our purpose and where we want to head in life. So they basically signal a lack of alignment. And in many ways, it's not about shunning them, it's about integrating them. It's about owning up to them. So the most common ones are, when it comes particularly to professional endeavors, are to do with money and worth. So basically, a lot of us have limitations and misgivings about our sense of worth, how much we should be paid, how much we should be charging, and this can really get in the way of putting our work out there in a fulfilling way and communicating the value of what we do. So money is a really, really big one. Sit down and think about, what are my beliefs around money and around worth. The second one is perfectionism. I am a massive perfectionist, and so for me it's one of my biggest blocks. This is all to do with, if it's not right, it can't be done, it shouldn't be brought out into the light. Of course, we know that perfect doesn't exist in the human galaxy. So perfectionism is almost self-sabotaging, is actually preventing you from putting your stuff out there, or preventing you from really making it successfully in the world by always seeking perfection. The third one is lack of confidence, and that has a lot to do with outer criticism and with how we perceive our ability to convey what we're about and our values and what we believe in more externally, not to the world. Fourth one is kind of the flip side to that, would be the inner critic, which in some people, again, hands up for me, is massively developed or overactive, and that is basically it's like a structure, like a foundation of self-assessment that was put in place very early on in our lives and during childhood for most of us, and it can really get in the way of allowing ourselves permission to do what we truly love. And a fifth one would be visibility. So again, being seen. It's sort of linked to the lack of confidence. Some people have a real issue about putting themselves out there and being seen. They have a reluctance to being seen, and that is a shame, because again, purpose requires you to be aligned in all aspects of what you do, and that includes interacting with others, and therefore there's always an element of visibility attached to it. So these are 5 of them. There's obviously more, but I think it's useful to do 3 things. So my top 3 tips for dealing with your blocks, or beginning to deal with your blocks on your own. The first one is to examine your beliefs. So beliefs around money, around perfection, around your confidence, your own confidence. Examine them, challenge them. 2 questions: is it true, and is it helpful, is it useful? And if it's neither nor, then really start seeing them for what they are, which are basically lies that are no longer applicable to you. The second point is think of the 3 A's of awareness. So that is acknowledge, accept, and act or adapt. So acknowledging is basically just realizing that you've got patterns around these issues, and getting to know them better, and basically getting to know what those little monsters really are like within you and how they operate in your life. Accepting them is basically just to acknowledge that they originally provided probably a very useful role, that they were there to protect you or to prevent something from happening to you. So there's a positive intention in most of these. So again, it's not about shunning them, it's about integrating them, trying to fulfill that positive intention in a much more ecological and emotionally healthy way. And act or adapt. So yes, do the analysis and do have the self-compassion, have the integration, but then do things differently. So if you're afraid of visibility, if one of your main blockages is visibility, work is consciously work towards more visibility with awareness. And the third and last point on this would be that embodiment is crucial in all of this. So basically, how is this particular block or these particular blocks manifesting themselves in my body? How am I carrying my lack of confidence? It tends to be quite obvious once we stop and tune into our body when we feel these blockages. So find it, exaggerate it, and contrast it. So if you do not like to be seen, try occupying a lot of space and seeing how that feels. And of course it will feel uncomfortable to begin with, but all it takes is for some awareness, body awareness, to be built in, so that you can use your body as a way of working through some of these blockages. So that's a really, really short overview of blockages in terms of finding your life purpose. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope that this was actually useful. Take care now. Bye.